Now, in Stalin's time, the region was a major transit point for prisoners being sent to the notorious Gulag labour camps. But the region, which lies on the Sea of Okhotsk, is also famous for its rich mineral wealth. Gold mining and fisheries provide the main livelihoods for the people there. Well, RT's Gani Chichikadze in the region's main city for us, also called Magadan. Let's catch up with him now. Morning to you. The area's riches underfoot aren't available, of course, for most locals, are they?
Kevin, yes and no, and I'll explain why. But first, just to give you a sense of where we are right now, the region is 8 time zones away from Moscow. And the flight from the capital to the city of Magadan takes 9 hours. So this is a very remote region in Russia's far east. It's all surrounded by mountains. You can get here only by sea or by plane. No railroads, basically no motorways. So the region's economy is very much affected by this problem of distance. For example, fish is one of the main assets here, and much of the fish caught here in the Okhotsk Sea is being exported because delivering it to the central parts of Russia is too much costly for the fishermen here. And also 80% of the food here on the market is being imported, somewhere from China. Again, the problem of distance. And you can imagine that the prices here are quite high. Well, the region's economy mainly relies on 2 industries, fishing industry and gold mining. Gold brings in some 70% of the region's income, fish 1/5 of it. Well, do people take advantage of some of the riches? Find out more about that in my report. These small glittering pieces of metal stuck on the rubber carpet are the region's main asset. Magadan is one of Russia's biggest gold producers. The owner of one of the region's gold mining companies shows me his private collection of nuggets.
I call this one God's gift. It weighs almost 3 kilograms. One of the biggest pieces of gold found in the region in a decade. I was offered to sell it for $350,000, but I won't.
Looking at all the glitter, I can feel gold digger fever rising in me. This is Russia's El Dorado, but you can't just take a sieve and pant for gold in these waters. What I'm doing now is illegal. But some locals say that rule needs to be changed. Vladimir is chief geologist at a gold mining company. There was a time when he panned for gold independently, but now the law is hard on independent gold diggers.
It's not fair that those who live in this land and know how to get the gold are not allowed to do that. They would sell it to gold mining companies anyway. People here will never stop panning for gold, but now they have to find loopholes.
But Nikolai Direzhinets says independent gold digging can undermine the work of gold mines.
If they allow it, some 3,000 specialists would leave the mines, but very few of them would succeed working on their own. As a result, the region will get less gold, and most of the gold diggers will have nothing to put on table.
Salmon is the region's other goldfish. The Okhotsk Sea and the rivers here are now full of salmon. It's spawning time, but locals can't just go and get the fish, even though salmon die after spawning anyway. For each fish caught in these waters, you have to pay. People who fish here legally with a license mostly come from the city. They just take their catch home, but locals who try to earn a living here say fishing legally leaves them with nothing. The poaching is too risky. If you're caught taking more than 2 salmon, you could end up with a criminal record. These fishermen are hired by a local company for the spawning period, which lasts around a month. They catch around 50 tons of salmon a day and receive more than $3,000 each. After the month comes to an end, most of them go fishing on their own. Although no one admitted to poaching on camera, they say it's hardly possible to make a living through licensed fishing.
People sit by the seaside looking at taller fish, but they can't take it. These rules make criminals out of honest people. For most people here, there's no other job but selling fish.
But poachers differ. Some treat the fish in the worst possible way here. They catch it, take the spawn for caviar, and leave piles of salmon rotting somewhere in the forest. As for state control, in a region so rich in resources, it is difficult to satisfy both the region's budget interests and the desire of an individual to get hold of some of the local riches for a better life. Now I'm joined by Andrei Khalkachan, local businessman who's selling equipment to gold mining companies here. You're very much familiar with the industry, I know. Tell me, do locals, I mean average people here, do they take advantage of the riches of the region? There's lots of gold here.
No, they don't, that's for sure. Given the history of the development of the gold mining industry in the area, it was always heavily controlled by the government, and the issue of the liberalization of the industry, of the gold mining industry, was always out of questions. But until recently, nowadays people talk about, given the fact that production of gold in the area is declining, now people talk about reviving the issue of freelance gold mining.
So how do you think how the issue is going to be solved? Just your forecast?
There are two views, and one view is supported by the big industry that is opposing to the freelance gold mining, and another view is mostly represented by the small mining companies.
This was exactly the question I wanted to ask. I've met with a gold miner here in the region, and what he told me is that those independent gold diggers could undermine the big gold mining industry here. Is that true?
To a certain extent it's true, because it affects the interest of the big industry. But for the little guys who are in reality are working under the wing of the big industry, but illegally, big industry quite often takes advantage of the small guys, because those are the same guys who are developing the mines in the satellite deposits.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrei. Well, that's it from me this hour. With more from Magadan region, join me shortly.
Looking forward to it, Gani Chichikan. Good to see you again this morning, reporting there from Magadan.